you both saw the video, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's only short. I'm going to bring it up to remind ourselves. It'll be good because it can go in the video of people watching.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So, I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So what I was thinking when I saw that, I was like, that's about how I would probably explain it if somebody asked me, because I would be trying to like, oh shit, what did Lynn Alden say to me? And what did Larry say? Yeah, they print and then they do. Like, it was like how I would explain it without any confidence behind my own explanation.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, no one would expect the average man on the street to be able to explain MMT or, borrowing. I mean, the whole government debt structure is probably lost on most people in this country as well. And that's fine. The difference is that they're not chairman of the, Council of Economic Advisors to Biden, right? I mean, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, lots of people are clueless about this shit. I get it. It's not your field. But, when you take that role, you're supposed to know something about, the topic. And it was stunning to me to see it. I heard it was kind of an old video that's actually been out there a while, and somebody just kind of dug it up recently. Is that correct? Do we know?
I don't know that.
It's just the result, okay, of decades and decades of putting poor policy on top of one another, kicking the can down the road, doing everything we can to avoid discomfort, making up the field of economics as we go along. Like a house that starts as a Cape Cod and you just keep putting additions on it until it reaches the fucking moon. And it's so top heavy now. And people at the top of it are like, how the fuck did we even get here? And what are the rules now? It used to be easy. You had debits and credits, like balancing your checkbook. Now all of a sudden it's this big postmodern, esoteric field that nobody can understand. And you got these people that are just gestating in groupthink, congratulating each other, giving each other awards and telling everybody else how they're all doing the right thing and how they're saving the world. And at some point along the way, they forgot to actually comprehend what was going on. And that's how you get something like that. I saw a video of Jon Stewart last night on Twitter too. It was from 2022, but he's basically doing the same thing where he's talking about modern monetary theory. And he's like, what's to stop us from just printing $1 trillion coins? We used to laugh at this idea when Paul Krugman said, but what's to stop us? And look, Jon Stewart's an intelligent guy. It's like, what's to stop us? Like, what possible downside could there be to printing $1 trillion coins? Well, I'm an idiot, and I can think of at least 2 or 3 things right off the top of my head, not the least of which is psychologically, it's an insane idea that could tip the scales of confidence in the central banking model to begin with before we even recognize the monetary effects of it, just because of how fucking stupid and asinine it is. It could wake up an entire swath of the populace even like, the double digit IQ people into just thinking like, man, these people really are idiots. Like that's the first reason before we even go into the inflationary reasons. So it is just, it's just, I don't even know. There are so many things nowadays that at the university level have just been, I just say, overthought, right? Like there's a case for academia. There's a case for examining the nuance in everything, in sociology, in race relations, in economics, in politics. There is a case for diving down into the deep nitty gritty of those things. And it's like biology on a, you get to a molecular level, you understand things better. But there is also there's also going too far. When I was an English major in college, and when I started reading Jacques Derrida talking about deconstructing, we would take a narrative written by some Native American in the 1850s, and you would do this analysis of it, which is like, hey, whatever, my fucking wigwam caught fire today and we shot and ate a buffalo. It's like, okay, that's pretty simple. That's what this guy wrote about. And then you get these fucking French quote unquote intellectuals that come in and they're like, well, it's more than that. It's more than that because you need to examine how they're using the semicolon. And why do they choose to use the letter T in front of the letter O? Well, the T is a phallic symbol and the O is, a vaginal symbol. It's like, motherfucker, sometimes people just want to write down that they had a hamburger for dinner. And that's the point, so you can't overthink all these things. Economics is very simple. It's debits and credits. It's supply and demand. It's price as a rationing mechanism. It's all these things that all the Austrians talk about. But, you get somebody up there like Stephanie Kelton, who is just like, she's got the dirt cloud like Linus from Peanuts just like over her head. She's just stuck in this intellectual, in the astrophysics of economics, where it's just, the deconstructionism of economics. And then these people talk themselves in circles for 40 years. And that's how you wind up with this guy who is Biden's top financial advisor, who has no idea what's going on. And then so when Andy Schechtman says to me, do you think it's people destroying the economy on purpose as some part of Cloward-Piven theory? I'm like, no, I think they're just fucking dumb. Like how fucking stupid do you have to be to send $100 billion overseas while the nation's fiscal and monetary situation is imploding? I mean, it's just, I don't think they have the brains to be evil. I think they're just dumb as fucking a second coat of paint. But that's just me. I didn't go to Stony Brook.
How do you really
I went to
feel, Chris?
fucking community college.
Yeah, I mean, look,